So this next question, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but I want you to elaborate on this. And the question is, what are your favorite things to shoot?
Like I was saying, I'm a landscape, but I do a landscape photography, which is a panoramic style. Going out taking pictures of nature. I like doing. I'll do some portraits, but it's not technically my forte. But the ones that I have taken, they're just just me just dibbling and dabbling, because that's not truly my forte. But the landscaping is truly my forte, because I like to make you feel like you've been there, So when I take that landscape and I put it in that panoramic style, I want you to really look at it and say, I can see myself there. Or where did he go? How did he get this? Because there's some photos where I'm on I have to go on a kayak. I may have to go in some forest area or something like that. I'm going into a forest, and I just taking the photo of that and just trying to piece all that stuff together to make you feel like you're in the forest. Like, man, like, okay, because there's people who they don't like going out into the wilderness like that, or they don't like being out someplace, and or just being down at the lakefront, or being somewhere on a trip that they've been to, and then they'll look at that piece and be like, oh, I was there. I remember that. And they want that, like they're like, oh, I just want to, I remember being there, and I want this right here. I want to capture it. I want that up in my house. I've had people who come up to me and just say, hey, can you, go out and take a picture of something and come back and, let me see how well you took it, and I want to have it up in my house because I remember being there, so.
Okay. Yeah, that there I think is a great way of thinking creative. Yeah, it's kind of a creative thought process. So what are some things that you find difficult in photography?
Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing specializes in custom framing, printing on canvas, and selling contemporary and African American art, all housed in our 3,000 square foot art gallery. We are centrally located in Milwaukee at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. We recognize local artists and strive to connect local talent with the community. We're asking for your support. Contact us to find out how you can help sponsor the work we're doing to highlight local artists in our community.
There's times where, depending on the type of day, like the sun sometimes, how you can look at something and you're like, man, right now this is the perfect time to take this shot. And then you capture it, but it doesn't have that same feel like the naked eye. And the whole thing about doing photography is trying to make it feel as much of the the naked eye. So when you look at something, you want to be like, I see it, I know what it looks like, So you're trying to get that eye perspective. So when I look at my stuff, sometimes it don't look like I wanted it to. So I have to look at it, and I'll be like, nah, that didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. Or even a nighttime shot. I may be out at night and I'm taking some nighttime photos and I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, this just didn't. It just didn't come out the way I really wanted it to come out. You know, just because the lighting, and then you're trying to adjust the aperture, or trying to get it, focused the way you really want it, and just working with the camera. Sometimes it has its own. No, I see it this way, and this is when I click that button. And then you look back on it, you're like, And sometimes I can take a picture of the same area at different settings, and either I have a long exposure, short exposure, depending on what I'm trying to do. Either it's giving me the effect that I'm looking for, or it doesn't. But I also have to be mindful that I'm working with time, and time doesn't have a limit. So and things are changing constantly. The sun and how everything is going. It's changing. So, and what I was looking at before, and then I just have to do one of these numbers. I come back at a different day and just see what it does.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a perfect definition of. You're not going to get everyone right.
No.
But you got to keep on moving and moving forward. And the right shot is going to come.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's the whole thing. You have to be patient. I tell you, like if you want that perfect shot, but sometimes you just got to be patient. It's like going fishing. You can't just go out there and just throw your line in the water and just be like, oh, hey, I got a fish right away. No, sometimes it's just not biting, and you just got to do different tricks in order for them to bite. So once you get that perfect shot, and you know it and you feel it, because you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the shot.
Okay.
And then there's times where I've taken a shot of something, and to me, it wasn't a great shot, but somebody else was like, dude, I love that shot. And I'm thinking in my head like, man, are you serious? I was doing X, Y, I hate this shot.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, I love the way how you did this. I'm like,
and I think with
don't really care for it.
I think what you're saying is that's art, because an artist might not like what they see, but someone else may. And I think that's the great thing about art.
Right.
That you might not see what someone else sees.
Right.
So
and like when I go to different galleries and different things, and people, and listening to different artists, and they'll tell you if you ever go to a gallery and you go to a showing and the artist is there, and you hear sometimes what they're talking about. Sometimes they really didn't like what they did, but then they're like, it just, something hit them, and then they were going in one direction, and then all of a sudden they switched, and then started taking its own type of life, and they just started, like painting, and they just got real creative with it. They thought they wanted this, and then all of a sudden it went in a total different direction. And that's sometimes how it is, like when you're out there shooting. You're shooting and you're looking at one thing, and then all of a sudden you just shift, and things kind of take on its own life, and depending on your time and what you're trying to do, you get into a different vibe, and you never know what somebody else really likes, and that's the whole thing. You put things out there sometimes to just test the water to see what other people like.
Okay. 2 more questions, Willie. So this next question is, how do you get paid to do what you want to do with your craft?
I go when I go. I take the photos. I'll print them out. I'll come up to Greenwood Park, and I have my man Fred taking my photos, printing them out, and I'll go to different galleries, and I'll put them up, or and hang them out, or I'll try to go and do some galleries, more or less like do my own little private little galleries and show my artwork that way. Those are just some of the ways that I put my photography to work and put my artwork out there for display, because just me just talking about it doesn't go anywhere. So I try to do different shows, curating, different events to help out other photographers like myself, or not even just photographer, artists in general, because I try to stay connected with a lot of artists and sculptors, people, and just trying to, get people to see art, because it's beautiful. And not just that, and make it not where it's just painting, photography, sculpture. I'm talking music, dance, like everything is art. Everything is one big bubble. Like I want to, like when I'm doing it, I want to bring it all together and have shows. And I used to, I shouldn't say I still do. It's just more or less I haven't done it because of the pandemic and all that. Had a group with the Fresh Perspective, which was one of the groups that had, and I don't know, still have. But
speaking of them, give a short explanation of this group you're speaking of. What's the name again?
Fresh Perspective is a group of local artists who are African American, male and female, and we would go out and hold shows and events and display our artwork, and that would showcase their work. And what I tried to do was draw in the elements of poetry, music, local artist bands, and just have them play, because all of that is art, and we've had a dance group come in, and they performed for us, and we had poetry, just the name of a few people who, when curating shows, just trying to put things together. And a lot of people, they hear it by mouth because we didn't do a whole lot of marketing on it, because there was some marketing but not a whole lot.
Okay.
And but the whole thing was trying to have people see that there are black artists and here in Milwaukee who are very talented. I mean, when I say talented, very talented.
The Artist Connection podcast was generated from many conversations with local artists around the lack of opportunity to showcase their talent. Here at Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, we recognize our local talent and strive to connect artists with the community. Please enjoy this opportunity to hear from local artists and learn more about what inspires their work.